everybody knew Governor Walz from Minnesota. He just threw it out there. I was like, ain't no hell, no. There's no way. There's no.
That dude is horrible too, man.
Hey, Jason, congratulate Jason. There's the predictor Robinson from Minnesota. What's up, Jason?
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Shout out to Elevator Jim. He says the cup's as big as my head. It is. You have to enjoy your Split Rock coffee. Use promo code WD Show in the gallon thing. But yeah, as the rest of the country gets to know Tim Walz, he is a socialist. He is terrible. He has done awful things to Minnesota with a 1-seat majority. And I knew they couldn't pick Shapiro because then all the Hamas people would protest. And it's like, who's the most socialist out there? And it was Tim Walz. And it's funny too, because he talks to you like he's your grandpa or your next door neighbor who's just like some nice old guy. He wants expanded government. He red flag laws, legalized pot. I mean, you name it.
Boys in the girls' bathroom.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He both
tampons in the boys' bathroom in the school.
Well, and the two that really, three drive me nuts. The first one is he simultaneously protected transitioning kids while banning conversion therapy. So if you want to make your kids trans, you can in Minnesota. But if you want to try to untrans them, you can't. That's against the law. He also made it where every illegal can get a driver's license. And when you get a driver's license, you're automatically registered to vote if you check the box, and the DMV can't ask if you're a citizen. It's just a question on the thing. So, hey, I'm an illegal. I want my driver's license. And then, okay, one of the questions, do you want to register to vote? Yes, that's it. And you get a ballot. Congratulations. And then the school lunch thing is nuts. Somehow he convinced Minnesotans that putting the government in charge of feeding your kids lunch was a great idea. It's already bloated. It's blowing out the budget. And I don't know what parent needs to think, oh, yeah, you know what? I really need the government to feed my kids lunch. It's insane. So I think it's a good pick for us because as his record gets exposed, it's going to be hard to the left.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll let Jason run off with that because conservatives, not all conservatives know about this guy. Or not all of MAGA know about this guy.
I never heard of the guy.
Me neither. That's why I was like, he didn't have a chance in hell. However, we already know this because we already know what progressives, I want to know how he got elected twice as governor. If he's all that bad and stuff, how did he get elected twice?
Somalians.
What? So Minnesota
had to be his policies too.
Minnesota's interesting. We are the home of the traditional Democrats. We used to be the DFL party, Democrat Farmer Laborers, and they were normal Democrats like we used to have in the 80s. And that party has morphed into the illegal immigrants, the Somalis, the Marxists, but they all still vote for whatever Democrat gets thrown up. And if you look at the state map of Minnesota, the Twin Cities is blue as blue can be. Rochester is blue as blue can be. And Duluth, Minnesota, which is in northern Minnesota, is blue as blue can be. The rest of the state is red as red can be. I live in a red area. We have shooting ranges and all that. But the ballot harvest in these big urban areas just I mean, if everybody had to vote on election day and actually intend to vote, you filtered out all the nonsense, Republicans would win. But with the current setup, we have such generous, literally you get a driver's license and multiple mail-in ballots just show up in your mailbox. It's insane.
You just described Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And all this, like you have to be a citizen to vote. Well, no, if you mark the box on your sheet, they send you a ballot. And if you're breaking the law being here illegally, you're not afraid of marking a box on a form, and then you fill it out and send it in. When I go to vote in Minnesota, they don't even ask me my license. I'm like, hey, I'm Jason Robertson. Here's my address. Okay, here's your ballot, sir. It's insane.
Hutch, I've been trolling the news. There's two things I've been hearing about Walz. One thing I can't. I mean, I understand why they're doing it. They're saying he's right down the middle. Is what they're saying. and then another thing is they're throwing positive populists up there. They're throwing that up there versus the negative populists. They're calling Trump and Vance negative populists because a lot of the stuff that they're saying is super negative and stuff. According to them, it's super negative. I guess Shapiro was probably a positive populist too, or they probably would have tagged him in that. What do you think about that? Because
none of those Democrats and no Democrat in the United States in politics is a populist. They're all tyrannical authoritarians, including Shapiro. Shapiro, the one that scared me the most was Kelly because of his anti-gun stance, but all of them are anti-gun. Josh Shapiro would have been the moderate pick. So they say he would have been the moderate pick. I mean, he was against Palestinians and he volunteered for the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. He was a no. There was no way they were going to pick him. But what you got to look at with Walz is look at some contrasting reactions to his pick. Ilhan Omar is doing jumping jacks and setting fireworks off. Yeah, she's happy as can be. But Van Jones is terrified.
No,
because Van Jones says that he is worried because Republicans are rejoicing the pick of Walz.
Yeah, but okay, because when did you see that?
This morning. Let me find it.
If it's a clip, they didn't clip the whole thing.
It's not a clip. It's just a story.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They didn't finish the whole thing because I watched him and he looked pleased as pickle pink. I mean, he was pickle pink pleased because it seems like what the left is doing, they're already saying that this is how they're telling you what Fox News is going to say. And you probably got the quote. Go ahead.
This is from the Daily Caller. That's not good. Van Jones says it worries him how conservatives rejoicing over Harris VP pick. He expressed concern today about conservatives celebrating Vice President Kamala Harris running mate selection. Harris chose Tim Walz to be her potential blah, 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 blah. Jones on CNN Newsroom with Jim Acosta said conservatives are much happier with this pick than Harris' other top contenders because of Walz's liberal record. That's the depth of my knowledge right there.
Right. And I watched that too because as again I was trolling and he was like that this pick right here is going to attract the younger progressive Bernie Sanders because he said that this is really a Bernie Sanders Elizabeth Warren pick. And I was like, but also tweeted out or posted that the media is not happy because he didn't pick Josh Shapiro.
It's totality. It's great, man. I hope Josh Shapiro's on suicide. I hope he's on suicide watch right now. He just didn't get picked by his own party because of his religion. I mean, it's right there, right in front of you, man. They're Nazis.
I don't know if it's because of their religion. I
guarantee it's because of his religion.
I think it's something else.
What could there be?
Because I mean, with does Walz, and I'm going to the Minnesota guy, does Walz have any affair type of stuff coming up?
No, Walz is pretty clean, been married.
Pretty clean, right?
He's got
Shapiro last week, his Secretary of State or whatnot was talking about sexual allegations.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, you can't have somebody. I mean, and as a matter of fact, his Secretary of State, the sexual allegations one that I guess was settled out of court, she picked Kelly out of Arizona.
I guess the reality is not as important as the perception. It looks like they didn't pick him because he was a Jew. Let me put it that way. Let me rephrase it. I don't know why they didn't pick him, but it looks to me like that's why. And a
lot of people are saying that from our side. A lot of people are saying
it looks that way. It looks that way. He was a pretty good pick.
Here's why they didn't pick him is because at every event he's at, you're going to get this pro-Hamas protest. And they're going to have a hard time keeping the lid on that, where they won't have that with Walz. So you won't have as much of the pro-Palestine stuff and all that. And it would
wait till
cause
the DNC
to take a
wait till the
position on
DNC
it.
in Chicago, and there's still going to be pro-Hamas stuff.
Oh, right. But I'm just saying it with Shapiro, it's like 10x.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And Walz, the media, so he is a devout leftist. I mean, he is a leftist. Bernie Sanders at least looked crazy. So you'd hear Bernie talking about the communist stuff, like, oh, here's a goofy communist who Walz doesn't have that. Walz comes off as, like I said, like your grandpa, or like your nice neighbor guy. But if you listen to what he says, it's devout Marxism.
I played a clip of this guy last night, and he said, it was only like a 20-second clip.
Yep.
He said, never, ever go against your own progressive values. One man's socialism is another man's neighborliness.
Yep.
Yeah.
He said that. It's on tape. It's right there. It ought to be in every commercial.
And for us, we are going after that. We are definitely going after that. But he's a hunter. He speaks. They're pushing out the stuff that he speaks to working class voters because that's another word that they're using about him. He's a folksy guy.
He is.
He's a folksy guy. And they're talking about, at least he can now Shapiro might not have been able to do this, but he can, because he has everyday type of talk. He can lean into Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, and those states because he's that everyday go. You even had some Republicans that came out that said when he was in the House, they got along with him. He was in the House for 2 terms. He was governor for 2 terms. You know, it's like, okay, that's what basically, and I let Jason go earlier about him. That's how you beat him, is on those progressive, even though Nancy Pelosi and Van Jones and whatnot are saying that he's down the middle, he has a record that you can go after. He legitimately has a record because he was, from what they were saying on the thing, he was moderate, I guess, to start off with, and he went left. He went way left.
He went where the money was. Where the money was.
Yeah.
They already cut an ad that's pretty good about him, man. He has some terrible legislative record.
Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest.
To get your free definitive gold guide and get started learning more about investing in gold and protecting your retirement from uncertain times, visit treasureandtrust.com now. Fill out the basic contact form and a member of the team will be in touch. Again, that's treasureandtrust.com or call 855-625-7760.